Welcome to the Una Vocis virtual fundraising gala event, Keeping the Music Alive. I'm Mike Ostrander, your host for the evening. I'd love to know who's out there with us, so if you could put your name in the chat on YouTube and say hello, that'd be great. We're broadcasting this evening from somewhere in beautiful eastern Mason City. That's right here in River City. I can't tell you where. It's definitely top secret, and plus they blindfolded me before I got here, and I was driving. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I sing tenor in Una Vocis. The tenor section's well known for making UV rehearsals fun. I'm also a plumber, and I also make fun of plumbing, so you don't have to. But tonight I invite you to make yourselves comfortable. Get ready for some music, fundraising, and beautiful music. First, I want to introduce you to the guy that we all look to for direction in Una Vocis, our artistic director, of course, Dennis Lee. He selects and purchases our music, coordinates concerts, runs auditions, directs rehearsals and concerts, and generally keeps us singing when the singing gets tough. Dennis, what are you doing? Turn around.
I'm practicing for our next concert. And besides, the audience usually sees that side of me anyway.
Well, let's give them a good look at the front of you, a choir member's view.
Well, you mean they actually look at me?
No, we don't.
Sorry, that's an inside choir joke. I do want to thank you all for joining us for our first ever virtual event. We are learning to make music in ways we have not done before. We hope you enjoy the music and appreciate our efforts to keep the music alive during this unique time. In order to fully participate in this event, I invite you to click on the URL link on the screen. That way you can join the auction or make donations to support Una Vocis financially. The mission of Una Vocis is to cultivate and celebrate the connections among audience, singers, and composers. Tonight, you will see and hear the connections that make Una Vocis a much-loved ensemble. This choir has worked hard to stay connected with each other, with you, our audience, and with the composers who share the music inside them, for all of us to enjoy. Our banner for this evening's event was designed by my wife, my talented wife, Camille Lee, Una Vocis alto section leader. The green symbol in the background is the symbol for breath. We hope you will relax, breathe, and take in our musical offerings while you consider your part in keeping the music alive.
Thanks, Dennis. Now I'd like to welcome our online fundraising host, all the way from Minneapolis, Liz Weatherhead. Welcome, Liz.
Well, thanks, Mike. It's so great to be here, and I'm really glad to be back in Mason City. Because as a little known fact, I actually attended auctioneering school here in Mason City years ago. So next time when we're back live and in person and you're singing again and we have an in-person gala, I'll show you those auctioneering skills. So a little bit about why I really wanted to be down here with all of you is, so when Una Vocis reached out to me, I couldn't wait to pack my bags and come down to Iowa again, because my family also has a strong choral history, and I deeply, deeply understand the power of music.
So you're saying you're familiar with Mason City?
Well, yeah, a little bit.
You ever been to Music Man Square?
No.
Park Inn Hotel?
Again, no.
The Footbridge?
3 strikes, I'm out. But you know, I did see the Walmart when I came into town.
You need to get out of Minnesota more often.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mike.
Tell you what, the next time you're up here, we'll take you to Target.
Woohoo, can't
That's
wait.
awesome. Yep.
Okay. Enough of that. Well, let's get back to why we're here.
Yeah, why are we here?
We invited Liz to join us tonight because after hearing our mission and getting a taste of what we do, she felt sure there would be people who would want to support and join our circle of music.
Lots of people.
Liz gave us guidance to create this event so you can easily understand our needs and give as you can to financially support our efforts. She has truly been instrumental in making this event work, and I hope you will follow her lead in joining our circle. Thank you, Liz, for all of your support of Una Vocis and its mission.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. So I'm sure you're all waiting with bated breath to learn about our plan tonight. Well, as Mike promised, it's going to be fun. First, we have a world premiere, FNS on World, of Turning Twilight. You're not going to want to miss that. We have a very dynamic montage video for you. And most importantly, we're also going to share with you the financial needs of Una Vocis to continue to bring music to the world. And then, of course, we're going to talk about those amazing premiere auction items. I'm wearing one right now. I'll show you a little bit later on. And finally, we're going to round out your evening with a men's piece, Wild Mountain Time.
So that's the lineup. As you can see, we're going to be asking you folks for your financial support during the evening. So be sure to sign into the auction site so you don't miss your chance to bid on a few one-of-a-kind items. Tonight wouldn't be possible without the generous support of our sponsors, Kurt Johnson Auctioneering, and 2 anonymous donors. A round of applause for them.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah?
I was just wondering, what does a choir that can't sing together or rehearse together, why do you need money?
Well, historically, Liz, we've been fundraising every other year, so the money raised in 2018 has had to last until now.
That's a long time.
Yeah, but since February, we haven't been able to hold concerts, sell tickets, or advertising in our programs, but the bills for music purchased, salaries for our part-time staff have all continued. Now we also need software, different microphones, and cameras so that we can continue to meet virtually and stay connected with our audience, update our website, and stay responsibly distanced while maintaining the bonds that make us Una Voces.
You have a lot of work to do and a lot of money to raise, and that's why we're here.
We need to raise it.
And Mike, don't forget that composers keep composing, and we definitely want to support them. As a matter of fact, it is time to share with you some exciting news. A lively interview and a hauntingly beautiful piece with music composed by one of our own former Una Voces members. Several months ago, we commissioned Amelia Overson to complete her first choral music piece, Turning Twilight. The lyrics of this piece were written by a choir mate of Amelia's, Andrew Newell, at Warburg College, where she is studying music education. We were to premiere that piece at our spring concert in May of this year. Since that concert was not to be sung, we decided to pre-record and premiere this beautiful music here tonight. We also traveled to Waverly to interview Andrew and Amelia. Tonight, along with Turning Twilight, you will see part of that interview. I know many of you are linking in just to see one of Mason City's favorite daughters with her debut composition. So without further ado, we give you Turning Twilight by Amelia Overson, lyrics by Andrew Newell.
We're here to talk about Turning Twilight. So, before we get into that, Andy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm Andy Newell. I'm a fourth-year history major at Warburg College in Waverly, Iowa. I wrote the poem that this piece is set to, and this is kind of my first venture into the world of being a lyricist. So, I'm very excited about this.
And?
I'm Amelia Overson. I wrote the music that accompanies Andy's poem, and this is also my first venture into composing at all. So it's very exciting. I'm really glad that this piece turned out as well as it did.
So Andy, how did your poem come to be? What were you thinking about?
I was actually sitting in the middle of my American literature class 2 years ago, and we had just read this short story by the naturalist American author Jack London. The short story is called The Law of Life, and it takes all of these themes of fatalism and the inevitability of death and the beauty of nature. And I was just sort of sitting there in class kind of stewing on it, and I thought to myself, I need to write this down in a more intelligible way. And so I started composing this poem, and after about 40 minutes into the lecture, I had the first version of it in a state that I really enjoyed. And it was the state that originally Amelia first saw it.
So Amelia, when you saw the text, did it immediately start a tune in your head, or did you have already one in your head that you were looking for words to fit?
The words definitely inspired the melody itself. And it was more of an idea, I think, just a way to write that I was drawn to, because the poem really circles around isolation. And in my mind, I've always, as a singer, I hear individual melodies most of the time. And though it's important to think about how they melt together, eventually it's not how I first hear music, it's not how I first see music or read music. And so I started to hear this individual melody that was sort of the opening. And I knew that the voices had to be by themselves most of the time, and they had to be independent most of the time. And I could only meld them together when the text called for it and when the text suggested that it be brought together. So it definitely inspired most of what I did.
So did you always envision it to be three voices or three women? And why?
And the reason I chose three voices was because I have two older sisters, as you know, and they're the people that I learned to sing with. And I thought, I really want to write something that we can sing together, but also something that that honors that as well. And it was the first time I'd ever written anything, and I was really concerned about how it was going to work harmonically, that I only wanted three things to work about. I thought two is just too little, I'll just add a third one in there, and I won't have to worry about anything else. And it worked. I mean, eventually there's a BC and things split up a little bit, but and I think we both agree, after it's all come together, that was the best decision.
It's turning soul.
Amelia grew up around this choir and is just one of the amazing Una Voces orphans who had to fend for themselves on Thursday nights. She came to concerts, played percussion for us a few times, and even auditioned and sang soprano with us for a year before leaving for Wartburg. Now she's produced this wonderful music for us and others to sing. She is working to get this published and purchased by other choirs.
That leads me to our exciting news. Amelia has agreed to be our composer in residence. You will be hearing more music by her, sung by this ensemble. If you would like to give financially to commission Amelia and other composers, please see the online auction site and put action behind your supportive thoughts.
We hope all kids get an opportunity to experience the power of music like Amelia and other Una Voces members kids have found. I'm going to let Mel tell you about this herself.
Hi everybody, I'm Mel. I sing soprano, I'm your vocal coach. At the first Una Voces Fall fundraising gala 4 years ago, one of our focuses was raising funds to help start a community children's choir. In February 2017, Nordchor had its first rehearsals. Nordchor means literally North Choir. Could it be any more perfect for where we are? Our first year we had about 15 kids, and now we have a membership that fluctuates around 30. We range in age from 4th grade to, we do have a senior in high school this year, and we meet twice a week during the school year, once in Mason City, once in Clear Lake. We come together for all of our concerts, special events, tours, singing on Una Voces concerts at times, and fun. One of our goals is to commission a signature concert closing piece. For more information, find us on Facebook. Ask questions, it's all good. We also have 5 children of Una Vocians in Nordchor, so we're growing our next members.
Wow, you really are like family down here.
We are, with a capital F.
Capital F.
2 of those mini Nordchorians belong to myself and my wife. We do make some incredible bonds singing together every week for 2.5 hours, and our families allow us to take time to be in Una Voces because they know the benefits we reap by being part of this group.
So what kind of benefits actually are you talking about, Mike?
I'm glad you asked, Liz. We've put together a short montage of audience members, singers, and composers telling about what Una Voces means to them.
Weston Noble, who
I've been reminded of all those who have influenced my life and my musical journey. My parents and family, choral directors from youth choirs through high school, college, and beyond. Participating in music has a profound effect on our lives. The mission of Una Voces is to celebrate the connections among audience, singers, and composers through creating music. In this next segment, you will hear from all of these groups. We will hear from one young lady who has been connected with Una Voces in all 3 capacities, and she will tell us how Una Voces has influenced her life and her career path.
Weston Noble, who was a long-time distinguished music educator in Iowa, often spoke about those special musical moments when body, mind, and soul are aligned. And I deeply appreciate that I've experienced those kinds of moments with all that Una Voces has brought into my life.
She has been so deeply connected in our family and just in my life and my development as a musician. It was a crucial part. I remember going to the first concert that my mom was in, and going to that and hearing, I don't think I'd ever heard choral music that beautifully blended and balanced. And I remember, I think that was probably the first time that I felt like I had inspired awe from music.
It's just been a really great experience being in Una Voces, getting to know the people, getting to know great music.
Una Voces is a group of diverse people from various backgrounds in the North Iowa area. We get together once a week and are able to sing together. We laugh together. We have fun as a community. We put together some really gorgeous music. We're really able to almost create magic together as a group, as we join our hearts in song and come together as a community of singers. We're able to joyfully lift up our audience and give that gift back to the community at large.
First time I heard Una Voces, they moved me to tears, and I knew I had to be a part, and I have been ever since.
Hello, my name's Bill Hahn, and I've been part of Una Voces Choral Ensemble since 2006. And the best part about being a part of this ensemble is being able to make beautiful music with other wonderful musicians.
Hello, I'm Carrie Mullen, and apparently I was the first person to audition for Una Voces, but I didn't know that for about 5 years until Dennis Lee happened to mention it. And at that time, he also mentioned that he must have been almost as nervous as I was with that first audition. So thank goodness we lived through it, and Una Voces was born and has flourished. And it has given me so many gifts. Among them, having the constant presence of beautiful music in my mind's ear and heart and soul.
From the very beginning, when it was just an idea, to 15 years later, 16 years later now, where we are, looking back at the things that we've done already, all the music that we've sung together. Una Voces is a family. There's nothing like being there together, singing together, taking the same breaths together. Every piece that we start, the first breath, we always take together. And there's just nothing like that feeling, nothing like feeling like you're just one little part in something big. And we all need to realize that we might be a little part of something big, but without that one little part, it's not that big thing. Everybody is needed. And we prove that time and time again when we're in rehearsal, when we're in concerts. It takes every one of us. I look forward to rehearsal every single week, and I miss our rehearsals so much since we haven't been to be together. I can't imagine what that first rehearsal is going to feel like when we can all come back together, and I'm so looking forward to that.
Thursdays are not the same without singing with this amazing group of singers. And just miss you guys terribly.
So what does it mean to me to be a member of Una Voces? It's just a really fulfilling thing to be able to sing with my friends and give back to all of our listeners in the audience every time we put on a concert.
That I think that when you hear something like Una Voces, an organization like that perform, that it reminds us of what it means to come together, of what it means to find harmony. And I don't mean that in a corny sense. I mean that in a very true, sincere sense, that it isn't just about the music, it's about people gathering together and with a like purpose, and look what they can produce. It's beautiful. And yet each person is so unique and different. And yet the sound is so homogeneous in the sense of the beauty itself comes through, and the excellence from a musical standpoint that you've always aspired to is remarkable, but it's even more than that. It's the fact that people from diverse backgrounds coming together with diverse voices are all coming together and creating a single sound that is beautiful. And that to me is probably at the heart of what you do. And for me as a now as a listener more than as a performer with the group, of course, can appreciate it from that vantage point, because it's glorious. It's absolutely glorious what you folks produce.
Hi, my name is Tim Takash. I'm a composer from Minneapolis. And a few years ago, I had the opportunity to write a commission for Una Voces. And I had chosen a couple of texts to send to Dennis for this Christmas piece. And I also included an idea, which was to write a new piece with a new poem from Michael Dennis Brown, which hadn't been written yet, telling the Christmas story from Joseph's perspective. And I didn't know what that would be about or how it would sound or what it would look like. It was just the seed of an idea. And that was the one that Dennis said yes to. So Michael wrote the text and I wrote the music, and Una Voces just knocked the premiere out of the park. They sounded so great on it. And it was really easy for me to promote the piece from that point on to other choirs. And that's really all you can ask for out of a commission, is to have other choirs perform it, and they have. And it's been a delight to see it sort of spread its way around the country as an idea born from this relationship between a choir and a composer. So I'm so grateful to Una Voces for commissioning me and for having and placing such a high value on commissioning new choral music, because I do think it's important to keep trying to say new things in a new way and draw more people in to the music we make on stage. So thank you so much to Dennis and Una Voces, and I just appreciate the relationship so much. Thanks.
I am so grateful for Una Voces that you are, even in the midst of all of this, you are making music, you're talking about music, you're curating music, you're commissioning new music, you're keeping the flame alive, right? As in this time when we're all waiting to sing, our voices are silent and we're waiting. Yet we remember the glorious moments that we've had as singers and as audience members hearing beautiful music. I'm just grateful that it's still happening, that in ways we're priests and priestesses, tending the sacred flame so that it doesn't go out until the day when we can let it all blaze again, which will be sooner, I hope, rather than later.
How crucial you all have been in our development and my life. And I couldn't think of anyone else I'd rather have premiere the very first piece that I've composed.
So beauty, magic, sharing, new friends, and caring, loving connections between people. What more does the world need?
And so I hope that all of you out there will give generously and keep this thing alive. Thanks.
Thank you for helping support our fall fundraiser gala.
Dennis, I'm taking this moment to say thank you for what you give the community and what you give to the music world as a whole, because, and thank the singers as well, because it's that art that reminds us of our humanity. Yeah.
There you go. I hope now you can see how powerful the sharing of music can be. We don't want to see this circle broken. From composer to singer to audience and back, these recordings were just a small portion of the submissions we received. If you want to see the full 7.5 hours of recordings, you'll find them in the coming days on our website, www.unavoces.org.
Friends, we've come to one of the most important parts of our evening together. We need you, each and every one of you, to keep the music alive, because our goal tonight is lofty. Our goal is to raise $25,000, and I know we can do it. So now, it's time for you to go to work. It's time for you to go to the Givergy site. I want to give you a little tour. So on the Givergy site, you will see where it says Make a Donation. There you will find all aspects of giving to support the voices of Una Voces. Here's some of my personal favorites. First, supporting us at the $1,000 level, the Una Voces Director Circle. Of course, Director Circle, we think of Dennis. Or perhaps you are moved to support us at the performance space because we need places to perform and those don't come cheap. So $500 supports us to find space to perform because yes, one day they will be singing again live and in person. Perhaps you want to say yes and support a concert at the $250 level. But now, I've got a very secret surprise for you. Up to 10 composer in residence donations. So if you go on the pledge list, you will find the donor in residence button. Search till you find that, because up to 10 of those donations, and those donations only, will be doubled. So your $100 donation at that level will actually be like giving us $200 because we had this amazing anonymous donor. And if you've already given at another level, you can jump in again to double the impact of your giving for this particular place. And there's so many other opportunities to support us directly by giving a donation, even dressing a choir member or two. And did you know there's actually a rumor going around? Do you want to know what the rumor is? I've heard that Una Voces must be of one voice, but they're not of one section. There's a friendly competition going on to donate. The wager is which section is going to come out on top. Alto, sopranos, basses. Let the best section win, I say. Now, some of us love to just donate money, but other of us, we kind of want something when we donate. So, here's also a little friendly bidding competition for you, because there's a plethora of auction items. So now, if you go to the silent auction items button at Givergy, I'm going to highlight some of our premier items for you. First, I'm actually wearing it. It's a one-of-a-kind sterling silver and black onyx pendant. Oh, the pendant, not the bracelet. I'm so excited about this jewelry, I don't even know what it is here. So, this beautiful pendant, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind, this beautiful 16th note will be the envy of all your friends. Also, Queen of the Prairie is a gorgeous, stunning oil painting by the famous Northwest Iowa artist Nancy Cook. This piece reflects the beauty and the tranquility of rural life. And the rumor about that piece is there's a beautiful frame to go with it. Finally, now we have the stunning black onyx bracelet. This piece is a showstopper. It's going to be very hard to take this off at the end of the night, but the lucky winning bidder is going to be big, bold, and beautiful with this amazing piece. Now, finally, we've got something very special for you to bid on. Haven't you always wanted to have dinner with our very own Dennis Lee? Of course you have. So this particular item, dinner with your director, is dinner for 4, and the food comes from your world-famous Northwestern Steakhouse. It's been voted the most famous restaurant in Iowa. I'm going there next time I come to town. That will be your dining pleasure. But for your intellectual and music pleasure, Dennis will share with you all the magic behind the scene of Una Voces. So bid high, bid often on all the 27 unique items we have for you tonight.
Wow, Liz. We are so grateful for the donors of our premier auction items, Nancy Cook, David Lee, Beth Rhodes, and Northwestern Steakhouse.
My favorite restaurant.
It's a good place to eat, and you bidders are the best. If you're like the rest of us, you want to know what it will look like for Una Voces to return to live rehearsals and concerts. We have a plan in place to ensure our return is timely and safe. Dennis, can you tell us a little bit about how we know when we'll be able to start back up?
Yes, the when and how to return to rehearsals and concerts is a subject being studied and talked about in the choral community around the world. We are part of that discussion, and we will be adopting safe return to sing practices when the time is right. In the meantime, we will be releasing safely recorded pieces, virtual choir pieces, and other recordings to keep us singing and you listening and composers creating. We will send out notifications when there is new content on our website and YouTube channel, and please contact us if you have any questions or concerns. One of the first releases we will be putting on the website in a few weeks will be a virtual choir recording of William Backlund's 3-art song piece entitled In Sound, in Silence. We saw and heard a bit of this piece and Bill Backlund's comments in our montage.
In Sound and Silence will be released in the next few weeks, and you'll also be able to see the entire interview with Bill, along with several other composers, including Tony Silvestri, Timothy Takash, and Amelia and Andrew. Also in the works is a recording of the UV women singing Moses Hogan's Music Down in My Soul. Speaking of other music, we have a recording of yours truly with a couple of my closest, yet socially distanced friends from Una Voces singing Wild Mountain Thyme, like the herb. Sit back and enjoy this Scottish folk tune sung by some of the basses and tenors of Una Voces, with Mary Jane accompanying and Mel Schallberg whistling.
Thank you.
That was indeed wild. I can see why all of you want to get back together, but that you care enough about one another so you won't do it too soon. How long did that take you to record, Mike? Mike, what are you eating?
Me? Who, me?
Yes, you.
Dennis took one first.
Dennis.
Mara brought these cookies in.
They're samples of the kind of baking that her husband does. They're offering a cookie platter of the month on the online auction. You can have 3 dozen of your favorites every month, fresh from Baker Bruce's kitchen. Check it out on the website. There are pictures, but we don't have smell-o-vision camera yet, so you'll have to just trust me. While you're there, check out and bid on the other items offered. The site will be open until Monday night at 11:59 p.m. Which reminds me, Liz, do you know what the official break time snack of Unavocis is?
Well, I don't, but does anyone out there know? Put it in the chat if you think you know.
Put it in the chat if you think you know. Anybody? I'll give you 5 more seconds before I give you my guess. Pepperoni pizza and Bud Light. No?
I don't know if that's right, Mike.
You know, I try. I do what I can. Before we go, I want to thank those of you who have shared tonight. Liz, you've been a huge help to us.
Oh, thank you.
Make sure you take home a cookie.
Or 2?
5 even.
Perfect.
Composers, lyricists, singers, listeners, we need you all to make the circle complete. Our sponsors, Kurt Johnson Auctioneering and 2 others, you know who you are. Our donors of the premier auction items, Nancy Cook, David Lee, Beth Rhodes, and Northwestern Steakhouse, thank you. Additional auction item donors were George and Bill Reason, Gary Pyle, Don Grosskruger, Scott and Candy Ellsbury from Jitter's Coffee Bar, Bill and Karen Hahn, Chris White, Scott Peterson, Bruce Overson, Camille Lee, Mel Schallberg, Richard Tompkins, Simply Nourished, Natural Plus Nursery, Market 124, Fat Hill Brewery, Dean Genth, and Gary Swenson. Your generous support cannot be overstated. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, we thank our intrepid Gala Task Force members who work tirelessly going back to the drawing board more times than we can count. Obviously, this event initially started out as an in-person gala event, and here we are. A million thanks to you all. And also, thank you, friends, for your kind attention and support. We are keeping the music alive with your generous support.